So here we are again. It's the second day in the month of June 2022. My name is Richie B. Welcome to Up and Go here on The Bridge 99 FM. Right now, we're going to be talking to the Shadow Minister of Health and Wellness for the People's National Party here in Jamaica, Dr Morais Guy, who recently I saw where he was advising Prime Minister Andrew Holness to reintroduce mandatory mask mandate. Dr. Guy said that this is important in light of the current fifth wave of the Omicron BA2 variant of the COVID-19 in the pandemic. In a statement recently, he shared that he felt compelled to renew his call because it has been more than a week since Prime Minister Holness promised to address the matter in light of the increase in cases and an upswing in the positivity rate, which according to data released by the Ministry of Health stands now at about 35%. Cause for concern, obviously, and that is why we have Dr. Morais Guy with us this morning to further delve into this subject. Good morning, Dr. Guy. Welcome. How you been?
Good morning, Richie. Good morning, listeners. I've been good, thank you. How have you been?
I've been well myself, and I'm joined this morning by Shells, who will also have a question or two for you.
Good morning, Dr. Guy.
Good morning, Shells. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Dr. Guy, I've noted that several doctors have actually come out publicly and have said that they're of the opinion that mandatory mask wearing will not stop the spread of COVID-19. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I disagree. The truth is that if it will not stop the spread of COVID-19, why is it that since the pandemic, the mask wearing has been one of those touted by most respected public health professionals? The truth is that it will not, in some instances, prevent you from getting it because the droplet infection depends on what type of mask you wear. But certainly mask wearing, if you wear the appropriate mask, which is the N95 and now the K94, you will reduce the likelihood of you inhaling those droplets, which are passed on from one person to the other. Let's examine it.
Yes.
Let's examine it. You are, Sir Maurice Guy is COVID-19 positive. He has on a mask. He reduces the amount of droplets contaminated with COVID-19 to the environment. Richie B is not COVID-19, but he wears a mask.
Yes.
It reduces his inhalation of those droplet infections. So somewhere along the line, mask wearing will help to reduce it. You know, I don't necessarily agree with my colleagues, and I will stand by what I say.
Yes, I think, and very much so, sir. Now, interestingly though, Dr. Guy, there are many persons who believe that, the constant mask wearing, will affect their health negatively. Is there any truth to this?
As far as I'm aware, no. We do not advocate mask wearing 24 hours per day. We advocate mask wearing in public spaces, in enclosed spaces, and in public transportation where you come into contact with people. There are people who are asthmatics who say that it affects their breathing. It depends on what type of material you have for the mask. So many people also complain about it. It causes nasal irritation, the material on their noses. But the truth is, that's a minor inconvenience compared to sitting in a hospital, lying in a hospital bed, unable to breathe.
Dr. Guy, what do you say to members of the public or citizens, really, as we await further instructions or word from the Prime Minister? What do you suggest that we be doing at this stage, even now?
I'm saying that the Prime Minister doesn't determine one's health. The Prime Minister is the head of the government and they make policy. If you are interested in protecting your health, continue to wear a mask whenever you go into the public space, whenever you go into enclosed spaces, whenever you have to take public transportation, and continue to practice the sanitization methods that have been advocated since the start of the pandemic. I do not, as I've said probably on the station before, how can you, as a government, say that you do not need to wear masks in public spaces, but you need to wash your hands and practice proper sanitization for a respiratory illness, which is spread by droplet infection? How does washing of your hands prevent better than mask wearing?
Yes, Dr. Guy, let me hit this one straight up. Do you believe that the government relaxed the COVID-19 measures too early, and that might really have contributed to the fifth wave that we're experiencing right now?
We believe that some of the measures were relaxed too early. The removal of the mask. I think whether we had those measures or not, we would still have the fifth wave, because what the fifth wave represents, as we have been told by the ministry, is the BA2 variant, which was not here before. So even if you had contracted COVID before, this new strain, you could also contract. However, what we do know is that it's not as deleterious in terms of its complications as the original strain or Delta. So what we have been seeing are a lot of patients who are symptomatic, but they consider it to be the flu, the mild flu, that sort of thing. So the numbers that we are getting out of the ministry is just the tip of the iceberg, because there are many persons who are not tested, many persons who do not report these symptoms. And because of the nature of the Omicron.2, it resolves without any serious complications. However, we have to be concerned about those persons who have comorbid conditions, such as diabetics, hypertension, persons who have cancers, persons who are obese, because they seem to have a greater predilection for going south in terms of their illness.
Dr. Guy, just curious again, how's the health sector doing? During with the new increases in COVID-19 transmission and stuff. Are we seeing the sector bursting at the seams? Is there any strain on the sector at the moment?
Well, the sector is always bursting on the stream. The sector was bursting on the stream prior to COVID-19. As I said in the Parliament in my 2021 sectoral presentation, COVID has really exposed the underbelly of the health sector, the health system. In terms of the numbers of admissions we have been seeing now, yes, they are relatively smaller than what we had in the fourth wave. However, it is no cause for complacency, because we cannot have a repeat of the horrifying events that we saw during the fourth phase, when people died from oxygen shortage, when we had graphic pictures of people lying on the floors of hospitals because they can't get a bed and getting oxygen. So as it stands right now, based on the information that has come out of the Ministry of Health, the number of cases in the hospitals are significantly less, but we still have to approach it cautiously and to anticipate any eventuality.
Dr. Guy, in closing, what word do you want to leave with us this morning?
Your health is your wealth. And in this crisis right now, it is important that you protect yourself and protect the others around you, especially your seniors. So I'm appealing to the citizens of this country, irrespective of whether the government announces a mask mandate or not, that you take your proper health into your hand, wear your mask when you're going out. If you have complications with it, to get out of the public space and get back home quickly and take off the mask. But wear it whenever you go. So you reduce the risk of you getting it, as well as reduce the risk of you passing on to others.
All right. And I guess you add to your protection with some good old dogs around you there.
They're quite young.
Oh, really? With a heavy bark. Thank you, Dr. Guy. Have a great day.
Same you. Thanks very much for having me.
Always a pleasure. Dr. Morais Guy is the Shadow Minister of Health and Wellness for the People's National Party.
So right now, 7:13 a.m. You know what time it is? It's time for me to try win my basket. It's time for the secret sound game. Now, before I give you guys a sound, here's the number to dial. That's 876-676-4996. DJ Oddly have the sound for the people. Then let's hear it. All right, I wish you guys all the best as always. And remember your clue. The clue that is that the sound that you're hearing has something to do with hair. That's H-A-I-R. Jojo, I don't know if that's going to help the people then, but let us see. We got people on the line? Not yet? All right, well, the people then, just don't worry yourself. We have a lot of time, psych. The number to dial is 876-676-4996. Richard, this is haunting my dreams. I don't know about you. This thingy.
Yeah, well, I tell you.
People getting close.
The fact is, we have not yet solved it.
No.
There's one person, I think maybe two on Earth, who actually know the correct answer. But a lot of people seem to be thinking that it has something to do with a comb, and even that I can't verify.
I don't know what to tell you.
Because the only clue that we have working with is the same one that the listeners have gotten. It has something to do with hair, spelled H-A-I-R.
Yeah.
876-676-4996. Give me that sound once again. Let the people hear it. Oh, gosh. It gets a little louder, it seems.
Tell you, say that.
Yeah,
Dreams.
Trust me. Well, let us see what's happening on the telephone lines.
Right.
The callers have awakened, and they're here to try for this big prize that we have. Good morning. Welcome to Up and Go. Hello.
Morning, Richie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sounds like Angela.
Yes, Richie.
Hi, Angie.
All right.
How is Clarendon this morning?
Good morning.
Thank you for tuning in and for entering. How is Clarendon today, Angie?
Sunny.
Sunny. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I hope your answer is just as bright and correct, because if you win, you know you're getting a huge gift basket. I think Angie has won before, right? Yeah.
Have
Did
you?
you?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Oh.
No, I haven't, Richie.
Oh, she has
I've
tried.
gone so straight, but not.
She has tried a lot.
All right.
All right, let's find out what your answer is this morning and see whether or not you're a winner.
Well, I don't think I don't know if somebody else gave this answer because I wasn't listening yesterday. I was out, but I'm thinking is somebody using one comb to scratch air from another comb. Are you scratching the air from the comb?
One comb.
Yeah.
Obviously, that comb has some hair in between the teeth.
Right.
And they're using another comb to remove the hair from that comb.
That's relatable. I get it.
Oh, Angie. We are awaiting the verdict. You sticking with that answer, Angie?
Hey.
Yeah, Richie, I'm just thinking, yeah.
All right, all right. Thank you for calling in and giving us that answer. The verdict is now ready. Let's do it.
Quack, quack, quack.
Sorry, Angie. Have a good day. Okay.
All right, we're moving right on to the next caller. Morning caller, welcome to the Secret Sound Game.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Who's this?
My guess is when you're scratching your hair.
When you're scratching your hair
Yes.
with a comb?
Just scratching your hair?
With what?
What you scratching your hair with?
With your finger.
Your finger. Making this sound. Huh? What's your name?
In Francis.
Hey, Francis.
Welcome back. All right. What happened to know? So if we go check the doctor with what going on here, if that's if that's the sound, you know, Mr. Francis. But watch us tell you know what's coming. Quack, quack, quack.
Sorry. Thanks for trying. Try again, please. We need to get a winner. Good morning. Of course, we thank you all for participating. And people are still calling in. My goodness, I can't believe this one is going for so long.
I can.
No, I mean, there was a verdict yesterday in the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case.
Yeah.
We want to see what this person is thinking, and then we'll deliver our own verdict right here in the Secret Sound Game. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Who's calling?
How are you, Richie B?
I'm doing well. How about
Talis.
you? Oh, Talis, what
go on,
You good?
Talis.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, nice hearing from you as always. What answer are you working with this morning, Talis?
Is it someone working up a lather while shampooing the hair?
Working where?
Working up a lather while shampooing the hair.
Oh, working up a lather.
Yeah.
Oh. That is clever. That is clever. Quack, quack, quack.
My goodness. Can't we just try one more? Because people are still calling. Let me try one more time because
All right.
we need to get a winner.
Yeah.
Good morning. Lucky you. Welcome.
Morning caller. We call her to get nervous.
What I can tell you is that we're getting some very strange answers. All right, I think we have the caller ready. Good morning. You're on the air. Welcome. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Who's calling?
Michelle from Radio.
All right,
All right,
Michelle. So
Michelle.
nice to have you as always. What's your answer this morning?
Is it a comb rubbing against the side of a table?
A comb running against the side of a table. We have never gotten that answer. You are the final one we're taking this morning in our desperate attempt to get a winner. Michelle from Red Hills. My goodness, I can hear some noise already in the background. But the question is, what's the verdict?
Quack, quack, quack.
Sorry, Michelle. Still love you. Take care. Have a good day. Robo?
I'm here, bro.
There you go. I wondered whether or not you'd show up today because, I saw millions of people in the streets, and I wondered whether or not our good friend Robo Ranks would be out there maybe chanting and singing and celebrating with the royal folk. I don't know, but you're here with us, and we're happy.
Yeah. Look, Richie, do I sound like the type of person that be chanting and singing?
In all honesty.
Flag waving and having buntings outside of my door?
In all honesty, you don't, and I knew it.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Shout out to everybody right now locked in London. It is a moment where we can reflect on a monarchy that has sat on a throne for so many years, and if there is some respect that we should show to her, is that she's done it with an air of dignity and an air
Grace.
of class, but behind the whole system of monarchy and royalism, there's been a lot of sufferation, and that side is never kind of like, you turn on your TV, it's 24-hour coverage. None of that is talked about, which is where we will have obviously our problems with. But in terms of as a head of state, we have to respect her. That's what she is. She is the head of state, and she's been on the throne for 740 years. Beg your pardon.
you still have a little problem with mathematics.
Yeah,
No, we're here to help you.
You got to understand, Richie. It's been long. It's been such a long
70
time.
years, man. Feels like 700, right?
Yeah, 70. That's right. 70 years feels like 700. There's some people who actually remember her coronation, and they've wheeled them through on all different media platforms, and they remember the coronation. They talk about Dave fondly of where she was crowned Queen Elizabeth. But for younger folks out here, they just they're just using the day as just hey, it's just another party, it's just another day. But I must admit, the 2 days back a holiday is a fitting way for the country to at least have a break for her. I think that's the best they could do. But anything else, the fanfare, leave me out, Richie. Just leave me out.
I hear you loud and clear. She actually visited Jamaica several times. You know that, right? Queen Elizabeth II visited Jamaica 6 times. Wow. Yeah, she was here in 1953. Shells, you remember that?
Yeah, clearly. I was there. Yeah, man. It's like yesterday.
She was here in 1966. I vaguely remember that. By the time Robo came into existence in 1975, she was here again. And then she also visited 3 more years, 1983, 1994, and 2002. Other members of the royal family have also paid visits, including, of course, the brother who was here recently. So,
yes,
William
and Kate.
Yeah.
William and Kate. And today they are obviously they're gonna have a celebration down at Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And there'll be flybys, the RAF aircraft. There's gonna be parades, marching, the whole thing. But the 2 people that are not invited, well, there's actually 3 people not invited. One that I don't really want to speak about, which is one of her sons.
Yeah.
But her grandson and his wife are not invited.
Wow.
Not invited to come out on the balcony and wave to their legions of royal fans.
I wonder if they're there, though.
They are there.
Okay,
they've been invited, but they're not going to be allowed
on the balcony.
On the balcony.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, the whole thing's just gone because that's what most of the young people have got that vibe for.
Yeah.
The dynamic couple, but they don't want to outstage the other 2, so they have them in the background. They're somewhere out in the garden. I don't know, but they're not on the balcony.
Who will be in the forefront, really, are some of the big performers, including Diana Ross and many others that will be making appearances during this celebration. So they're making a big thing of it in terms of the concerts that go with this celebration. The only disappointment is that we don't see even one reggae artist.
Ooh.
Body at all.
You know, the Queen would say, not my cup of tea, actually, not my cup of tea. It's not her cup of tea.
Yeah.
If it was Meghan and Harry, well, I'll still love who that. Rory inside. Yeah.
Shaggy has performed for
the.
Yeah, Shaggy has performed for the Queen before.
Yes, Shaggy,
but,
and I think somebody else. Prince Charles has an affinity to reggae.
Yeah.
Obviously, Meghan and Harry. This kid, listens reggae, and you saw how he behaved when he was in Jamaica and during the Olympic celebrations. But the Queen, she has her. Let's say she has her playlist, and her playlist hasn't changed for as long as she's been on the throne. Big up, Lizzie.
All right, Lizzie.
Hey, just on the note of the royal family. So I just mentioned that two people won't be invited on the balcony, and they cause such a ripple every time they come out. 29 minutes ago, most of the newspapers had flashed up. Meghan Markle wears a navy blue off-the-shoulder dress for the She's still the talk of the town.
Wow.
She is still the talk of the town. So it's remarkable that they were kind of like put in the back, but every newspaper article online since the parade has started, they're just talking about Meghan Markle's what she's wearing.
I guess
they're interested, but they're not interested. You understand?
I guess they can't keep a good girl down.
They cannot keep her down. No, sir.
Have you seen any reaction from Kate?
If you see a reaction from Kate, it would be very slight. You'd have to be you'd have to really learn how to do body language, because she learned how to control it now. She's like, it's more of a head lean.
Yeah,
it's a lean.
I did a quick search while the news was being read, Robo, and I see where Lurleen Cato, a Jamaican gospel singer, in 2020, she has what persons call a 5-octave range, and I highlight her because she's actually from the parish of my birth, which is Portland. Her parents, Gladstone and Esme, are from Portland, and she actually made an appearance. And, of course, in 2018, Shaggy, Mr. Orville Burrell, who was recently conferred with an honorary doctorate by Brown University in the United States of America. And now it's time for us to welcome you officially to Manchat. Today we look at how men can build their self-confidence.
And now, so you're wondering how you can be a more confident man. Perhaps, you are curious about how you can raise your self-esteem. If you answered yes to these questions, know that you are not alone, Zine. In fact, most men struggle with confidence at some point in their lives. This is true also of young men who are just starting out in life, and of older gents who are a bit more mature. Questioning your confidence isn't a bad thing, remember that. In fact, it just suggests that you are mindful of your self-perception at this point in time.
So we want to tell the brothers out there that we're not pulling on any external resource this morning. We have information. Yeah. Some of it based on our own experience, others based on research that we are in fact sharing with you on this whole subject of building your self-confidence, brothers. Right. Because the secret to being a more confident man really has to do a lot with how you view yourself, which in turn has a major impact on your own self-esteem. So while we hear words like self-confidence, self-esteem, things like self-concept used interchangeably, they actually have different definitions. And this is particularly true in a world where a premium is placed on alpha men. So what we're going to do at the start is to take a look at these words and define them so that you have a clearer picture of this entire male confidence thing. So Shells will help me here with describing self-confidence, self-esteem, and things like self-concept.
All right, so self-confidence, essentially what it is it's a belief in your personal judgment and decision-making abilities. Now, self-esteem is an emotional evaluation of your self-worth, and self-concept is a collection of beliefs about yourself. So you can see how when all of them come together, you just feel powerful.
Yeah.
You understand me?
You could do this for a living.
Well,
Now, as you can see, the terms are quite similar in nature, but not exactly the same. It is important then to keep the meanings of these words tucked in the back of your mind as we go over some tips for being a more confident man with high self-esteem. So there are a number of tips that we're going to be sharing, things like believing in yourself and your ability to make sound decisions. We're going to walk through, how you avoid negativity, how you should basically embrace your mistakes, even accepting change, which is supposed to be a constant, and believe that you are worthy of happiness. So let's alternate on these subjects right now. Over to you first, Shells.
All right. So as Richie mentioned previously, believe in your ability to make sound decisions. You know it goes men. You know. So it go in a society. You know we say it. A society says so. We have a lot of responsibilities. No. So one of the primary keys to building self-confidence and increasing self-esteem is to believe in your decision-making abilities by using mindfulness-based approaches and focusing only on this moment in time. Affirm to yourself that you have the intelligence and experience to make healthy decisions for yourself.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm going to share with you now on the whole matter of how you avoid negativity. So as an addition to tip number 1, it is important that you learn to tune out negativity.
That's true.
We're all surrounded by that almost every day, but you need to tune it out. This means being mindful of the past with an eye on the present. You see, having healthy self-confidence means making the conscious choice to not buy into ugly remarks that are said to you in the past. This also includes negative things that you actually say about yourself.
Look at
Avoid negativity.
You don't want to know. Gents, stop going like on a Superman, because even Superman make mistakes. How much building him mash up when him save the world. Embrace your mistakes, right? There isn't a person on this earth who has not made a mistake. Rather than be embarrassed or ashamed over past mistakes, learn to embrace them. The mistakes you have made are yours, meaning they belong only to you and nobody else.
And the penultimate tip we want to share with you is how you should go about accepting change, which is really constant. So yet another feature of a confident man with healthy self-esteem. You'd have heard Jody mentioning from when we started the program, I love a confident man, right? So another feature of a confident man with healthy self-esteem is the recognition that change is constant. So what does this mean? Let me tell you. This really means that you are constantly changing. The image you see in the mirror today will be different tomorrow, even if it's just slightly different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And finally, I like that one here. I want to give him like a goosebumps, because men in life have said this about themselves. But hear this, gents. Believe that you are worthy of happiness. Oh, God. Whew. Now, confident men recognize that being in a state of happiness is important. But in order for you to attract things like money, romance, or success in your life, you need to believe that you are worthy of happiness. Your worthiness to receive happiness is not contingent on your sexual orientation, race, or ethnicity. And bear in mind, there is a difference between feeling you deserve happiness versus being worthy of it. Worthy means your self-concept is capable of absorbing happiness into your total you.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
These are some really, really wonderful tips. I'm sure that the brothers are appreciating this. And we want to close out where we actually started. And that is, it doesn't matter whether or not you're a young man or an older gent. The fact is, sometimes you just simply need to question your confidence. It's not a bad thing. And in fact, suggests that you are mindful of your self-perception. And that is a key to the whole scenario.
May I just say one more thing,
Yeah,
though?
man.
Definitely.
There's a fine line, gents, between confidence and arrogance.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? For me personally, this confidence thing is supposed to be about you. You know, focus it on you. I think once you become arrogant when you start to project your confidence onto people, like you're just doing it because you want people to think you're confident.
You're becoming overly confident.
A little arrogant.
And some
Don't
people
do it
have
for
a problem
people.
with that. Yep.
Do it for you, bros.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I thought we shared quite a bit this morning.
Yeah.
And it should help everybody's confidence.
Yeah, I hope so.
Going forward.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was listening.
Okay. All right. So
It's gonna help me.
do we send you the invoice?
What?
You think this is for free,
Yeah,
boy?
man, is that?
Go right ahead.
And it's not monkey money, you know.
Eh?
You think it easy if you get Chelsea to do them research and come
mean,
present
no,
them
no.
things? Yo,
What's
brethren,
that? Some good food.
you have your checkbook?
A good food.
And Jody's going to send you one separately. Remember that?
Yeah, oh, yes.
See?
Well, if all of that information, gonna make me greater,
Why
I'm
not?
more
Work with it.
confident.
Pay up.
What I mean?
Pay up.
Confidently
Where's
to
Put your money where your
Where's that?
mouth is.
confidently put your money where your
Yeah.
Listen, a chump.
Yeah, all right, sir.
Bossy.
Bossy.
We're looking at the subject, Tivoli Gardens, 12 years after the joint police military operation. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to Constitutionally Speaking. How are we doing today?
Well, fine, thank you, sir. Thanks for having us.
Good to have you both. Mr. McKenzie sounded a little muffled a while ago, so we can get that sorted out as we go along, all right? First question to you, Mr. McKenzie. What has changed in Tivoli Gardens since May 2010?
Well, when we last looked at it, nothing material has changed. Some of the recommendations made by the Commission of Inquiry, which was convened, were implemented. Not all, but insofar as the physical condition there is concerned, it remains the same today in 2022 as it was in 2010 at the time of the incident. Nothing visible since. There may be, just maybe, change the way people feel. I really don't know. I gather there might be some residual emotional hurt from some people who were not compensated or who felt that they were not adequately compensated. A couple of the recommendations with respect to the security forces were made, none were implemented, and things remain the same as we see it. Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Okay. Now, Mr. Hemmings, morning once again, sir. My question is, how have the recommendations of the West Kingston Commission of Inquiries, which was submitted in 2016, helped the citizens?
Well, every time I start, one of the recommendations made by the Commission of Inquiry was that citizens should be compensated for the loss that they sustained. For some of them, the estate of the loss of the loved ones, and for other property damage, and for some damages to be paid because they were unlawfully detained. The overarching recommendation from that was that a compensation committee be formed by the government to examine individual cases and determine the level of compensation. Well, that was done, but I'm sure not everybody was satisfied as to the level of compensation. Initially, after the security force intervention, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security paid over quite a sum to several of the people to tie them over the immediate aftermath, to get them back up and running. And then the compensation committee, which came after the Commission of Inquiry, that compensation committee was chaired by retired Court Judge Mr. Justice Panton.
Yes.
Two members of the clergy. People were supposed to have come forward. It sat at the Ministry of Justice and had it sitting. And some people came forward, some didn't come. The residual position from the start. And so some of those people were compensated. Well, for those who suffered death, those deceased persons who left minor children under the age of majority, their estates were compensated to the extent that we could actually identify those persons, and to the extent that it came forward with the documents that allowed us to file for grants through the Administrative General Department, and the compensation committee recommended certain awards for them.
So, what we're saying is that the emotional hurt is still there. There is no amount of compensation that can be provided to take away that. And I recall persons there in Tivoli who lost two sons at one time. And I mean, that was a heavy loss
for these persons, and that emotional hurt that will carry right throughout their lives. And even if they were compensated, you can't compensate for life, right?
Yes.
So there is still that within the community. Persons are still hurting, as you might come to expect from persons who have lost their loved ones.
Indeed. Gentlemen, do you think that it's likely, or is it unlikely, that the country might experience another situation such as that which took place in Tivoli back in 2010?
Well, what happened in 2010 was very unfortunate, and we would not want it to ever happen again. I myself was there during the operation, and it was something that one wouldn't want to recur in any in any community in this country. However, if the security forces feel the need to carry out operations, I hope that they would have learned from what happened in Tivoli Gardens and the instances of death and damage to property, that it won't recur.
One of the things with Tivoli Gardens, Mr. Burgess and your co-host, it had developed a sort of image whereby it's off limit to the police force, almost like an autonomous state within a state. The police can't go there. If anybody is a fleeing felon, they run to Tivoli, and that's a rock of refuge. You see, once you have the image and that culture which is built into you, you believe that you are immune to the security forces. And to answer your question directly, if Tivoli or any other community of that type develop that sort of attitude, then the 2010 thing can happen again. It all has to do with how people perceive themselves, how they perceive their community, and how they perceive the police forces. You can't tell any person on Tivoli at the time that they were subjected to the same rules, laws, and policing as the rest of us. Were you know?
Yeah.
They believe that their rulers are in a unique position whereby anything happens. We have our own system of laws, we have our own system of justice, we have our own system of arbitration, and we have our own system of passing punishment, executing punishments, and putting sanctions against people. And that's how that committee has lived. And I say so without fear contradiction. That is how that committee has been for years. So when for the first time you have this major joint military police force operation, they felt so emboldened by the culture that they have had that they thought they could barricade themselves in the premises, in the community, to prevent the police from coming in. What they did not appreciate is that when you barricade yourself that way, what you're actually doing, you're fulfilling a requirement for the security forces in cordon and search operation. Because what you effectively doing is cordon the place of the security forces. Operationally, the security force would have viewed that as the inner cordon, so the security forces told the outer cordon to prevent anybody from coming in and to report anybody that's potentially escaping.
Yes.
Because sorry, you were saying something?
Well, I was really trying to zero in on the kind of support that the Public Defender's Office would have provided to some of those residents, so people get an understanding of some of your roles and functions.
Okay. Well, certainly. As I indicated before, we were there from the outset. The Public Defender, the Office of the Public Defender, started investigation whilst the operation was taking place. And we even had an office in Tivoli Gardens. And in the aftermath, we took statements and we took evidence, which was very crucial in the Commission of Inquiry. And as a result of our efforts, the Commission of Inquiry made recommendations which included that persons be compensated, and that led to the formation of the compensation committee. And persons were indeed and in fact compensated. So we played a significant role, and we're not taking anything away from the other agencies that
that assisted, but as it relates to direct contact with the residents, collecting the evidence and providing the evidence to the Commission of Inquiry, we played a significant role in that regard.
In fact, it was as a result of the then public defender's report, who was Mr. Irwin at the time. A recommendation came from him that the Governor General convene a commission of inquiry to look into the situation in Tivoli because of the number of casualties, including fatalities. So to that extent, the Office of the Public Defender was very instrumental in getting it going. And like Mr. Hemming said, after the commission of inquiry, the public defender were essentially the public defender office itself was sort of like the driver behind the compensation committee. We were responsible for getting the people who suffered loss, getting their statements, getting their documents, and submitting it to the secretariat of the compensation committee, and then ensuring that they turn up for their evidence to be heard at the compensation committee. And if we were to rewind back at the commission of inquiry, the public defender office, like Indicom, like police, JDF, we had standing there, and we were allowed to call witnesses, to present witnesses. And the same way the police was, same way the JDF was, and Indicom and any other bodies that had standing. So our office was not a passive participant in the whole thing.
Okay.
That's not history in our affair, but so it was.
So it was. When I saw the topic, I immediately said to my colleague, this is going to be an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be just that.
Definitely.
We looked this morning at Tivoli Gardens 12 years after the joint police military operation. Our guests were Mr. Hemmings, of course, and the acting public defender, of course, Mr. Herbert Mackenzie. Gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you both on the program this morning, and we look forward to doing it again come next Thursday. Until then, you take care, and thank you.
Respect.
Have a good day, Mr. Hemmings and Mr. Mackenzie. All right, that was the feature we call Constitutionally Speaking, all sponsored by the Office of the Public Defender.